So this is the weekly general reading for the period of Sunday, the 27th of June through Saturday to come, the 3rd of July. Time is just going. And we're starting with 29 for spiritual partnership. Dirty movie. People could be exchanging pictures, or something could go viral, like nationally or globally, or in your local area. Or this could be like personal. You send me a video, I send you a video, you send me a picture, I send you a picture, whatever the case may be. Or just like communicating via some kind of online something, or maybe online dating. And then it's 50-50. Can mean a few things. Could be about balance, can be about splitting the bill, can be about give and take. You get the idea. Spirit says, try again. Buy shoes and romantic dinner. The cards, we are beginning with the Six of Cups. Can be about nostalgia, maybe something coming up from your past, from your childhood, something having to do with a soulmate, something having to do with siblings or family, your children. You, maybe even though you're an adult, you could be the child in the scenario, something having to do with your parents. Likely very positive, followed by the Nine of Cups as well. Prayers being answered, wishes being granted, dreams coming true, goals being accomplished, knocked out. And the Six of Swords as well. So maybe something hadn't been going necessarily your way before. Things could have been difficult. Usually when I see the Six of Swords, the Ten of Swords isn't far behind, like it's near, we might even pull it as an indication that you have been going through something difficult, but things are better now, and those difficult times are behind you, like the worst is behind you, and this is like smooth sailing ahead. The next card is in reverse. It's the Five of Pentacles. The Magdalena deck, we are starting with love, which can be, all kinds of things. It can be self-love, it can be love of another person in a platonic way, maybe siblings, family members. It can be romantic love, self-love. It's followed by surrender. So any of those, this could also apply, in terms of letting go and just like being love yourself. But like we're made of energy, and love is the highest energy of all. So you can decide to, to be love and just exude that, and not to have, have or hold any like negativity, animosity, regret, resentment, none of those like negative emotions. I'm just going to shuffle these a little bit in front of y'all. I've shuffled them before I started, but now we'll just do a little bit more. Our new overall energy is eternal embrace. I'm sorry. Did I say internal? I think I did. And it looks like we've revealed the devil, or he's revealing himself. Devil, Major Arcana card 15, does represent the sign of Capricorn. We just experienced the Capricorn full moon. Maybe that's why. Five of Swords popped up a couple times. Could be some conflict with somebody this week. And the overall energy is the Knight of Cups in reverse, followed by the Eight of Cups, also in reverse. All of these are in reverse. Very interesting. Okay. The Knight of Cups in reverse can be about feeling like you have too much going on, like maybe being sort of emotionally Overwhelmed, probably the best word. And that may be more so like when it comes to love and relationships, because in a general setting, it can just be about feeling like you're being pulled in a whole bunch of different directions. So that could lead you to feeling emotionally overwhelmed, but not necessarily if you get it under control and you manage it. It could be an opportunity for you to catch yourself too, like, and to prioritize. Like, okay, I'm being pulled in too much direction. Hang on, let me stop, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. So this is more important than this. If this doesn't get done, it's okay. At least I did this. Whatever you need to do. But when it comes to like love and relationship, it can really be about one or both people just feeling sort of, yes, emotionally maybe drained, overwhelmed, too much on their plate, too much pressure, maybe to enter a commitment or something like that. I don't know, too much pressure coming from some end. Maybe if you don't feel like you are able to like support your partner, have their back in some way, maybe it's financially support, and so suffering under the pressure, whatever the case may be, just feeling like really, really sort of like you're sinking. Again, one or both parties, and so that may call for some sort of conversation, or that may call for you guys to like take a break. If somebody's single and the Knight of Cups in reverse comes up, then that can be about being swept off your feet. Isn't it a totally like different meaning? Like, it's kind of crazy what it can mean, a couple versus a single, but that's what it is. All right, so I'm gonna pull the 6 cards we pull every week. The first card will be the one most directly representing us this week. I did mean to say that Knight of Cups, or that feeling that we may experience, could be from Neptune having entered, not only entered Pisces, but going retrograde in Pisces yesterday, or is that today? The 25th. It's today. George Michael's birthday and the anniversary of Michael Jackson's death. Michael, yeah. All right, the first card most directly represent us. And it's the 4 of Pentacles. Not one of my faves. Surrounding energy. The Hermit. Close friends, family members, co-workers. Romantic interests or partners. Work and finance. Ooh. Love and relationship. Very nice. Physical health. Okay. Spiritual health. Wow. That's that Neptune. That's that Neptune in that position. Neptune rules like our deepest emotions and feelings and stuff, and thoughts and loves and just everything. All right, so starting with the 4 of Pentacles, I think I talked about the Knight of Cups in reverse enough, at least for the moment. So going into the 4 of Pentacles, I said it's not one of my favorites because it's about holding on to things, people, places, things, situations, circumstances that we have some control over, just longer than is necessary, healthy, or even like realistic, right? And this maybe by the devil showed up before too, because it's like the devil, like, I'm comfortable with this, I'm comfortable with him, I'm comfortable with her, I'm comfortable in this job, even though I can't stand it, they can't stand me. I hate getting up in the morning to go there. At least I know I get a paycheck, and if I leave this job, I gotta look for another one. I don't gotta find, So at least let me just stay here, even though I'm miserable. And keep getting this money. Let me stay in this relationship, even though it's toxic and we can't stand each other really, or it's abusive or whatever the case. Because if I leave, then I gotta find a new man, or I gotta find a new woman, and blah, blah, or we got kids together. What's gonna happen? Meanwhile, the kids are miserable too because they see the abuse, they see the argument, they're abused as well. Even if it's just emotionally from being forced to having to, witness their parents go through this, but we stay in these situations that just really, really unhealthy. And that's what the 4 of Pentacles is about. And that's why I don't like it. It's a sign for sure that you really need to look carefully at like what it is you're clinging to, and it could be also whether others are clinging to you in an unhealthy way as well. And then, but like, obviously where you're clinging to something or someone, you have more control to say, okay, I'm cutting this off. I'm deciding that I acknowledge that this is toxic, this is unhealthy, this has been going on way too long, and I'm ending it. I think for maybe the majority, it might have to do with work, because not only do we have pentacles, which can represent money and stuff, in the position of work and finance, we have the Tower in reverse, and the Knight of Cups in reverse. Our overall energy in terms of work can be about like feeling like something, some sort of resentment about like the demands maybe that your work is putting on you. Remember I was talking about the pressure and feeling, feeling pressured, feeling emotionally overwhelmed. It can be like you're maybe they're doing too much at your job, even though in general work could be going well. Um, there's some sort of like load on your shoulders that you're feeling there. And then looking at the Tower separately, it can be about arguments and misunderstandings and things happening in the workplace, and not necessarily you, but sometimes people around you, so like coworkers and stuff, just being like particularly stressed, and maybe that's what's putting pressure upon you. If your supervisor's stressed out, your boss is stressed out, the owner of the company is stressed out, and maybe they're putting additional undue pressure upon you as well as a result. So definitely could be something like that, but we'll I guess talk a little bit more about those in a second. What else can the Four of Pentacles be about? Um, it's pretty much the same thing, like what I just described in any and every any area of your life. It can be holding on to the job, holding on to a toxic relationship, holding on to some sort of practices or something that you know your soul and your spirit doesn't really align with, but you're holding on to it. And so it's about releasing what doesn't serve you. Seriously. Now, the Hermit is a super spiritual card, but it's in the position of the surrounding energy. So it probably has more to do with somebody or something around you um, than it does you. Although it could have to do with a romantic interest, a partner too. Could represent an ex that's coming back, whether it's upright or in reverse. When it comes to love, the Hermit tends to be about rekindling a relationship from the past. And the Knight of Cups can be about that for me too, like somebody returning to your life. Um, you're gonna have to think about whether or not you're interested in that. Just because somebody's coming back, even if we had a good relationship, doesn't mean we want to go back there. Especially if we're holding on maybe to some fear, resentment, or something connected to that past relationship. Oh well, ultimately they broke my heart last time, so I'm not willing to try it again. Or they hurt my feelings, so that's that. I'm not going to take a chance. We can do those sorts of things. Or you may have like a more uh I don't want to say legitimate, because I don't want to delegitimize somebody saying that their feelings were hurt, that's why they can't do it. But you may have a more tangible reason as to why you don't want to revisit, or why you do. So it can be something to think about. In the more general sense, it's again super super spiritual card, probably showing up because of the Neptune retrograde, perhaps even the Saturn retrograde. There's going to be a lot of these sort of like deep um, and intense feelings and like phases that some of us will go through. And as a result, we could feel like we need some time alone. Or again, somebody around you may feel like they need some time alone. Um, Somebody may be feeling not only emotionally overwhelmed, but maybe spiritually overwhelmed, or spiritually confused, or like they need clarity. And Neptune and Pisces, that energy can be very confusing. And when you're learning about yourself, and new things are awakening within you and around you, that can cause you to need to spend some time by yourself. If you're debating or fighting with yourself about whether or not to release something or let something go, or you're fearful about something and so you're clinging to it, that may be a reason where you need to be by yourself too. And so this, in the position of your surrounding energy, can be about you not wanting to maybe spend time with somebody, or doing something because you need to be alone. Or it can be other people being that way towards you, like they're sort of withdrawn this week, and maybe you don't understand why, but it's because of going through some sort of spiritual um, awakening, or again search for self or clarity, and doing some sort of introspection or something like that. So moving on to the position of work and finance, I kind of talked about the tower already in this position. It can be about people around you maybe being just particularly stressed out, arguments happening, just like popping off. And it's important that you don't take these things personally. It's like there's something in the air, kind of. And that if you don't need to, if you're not involved, that you don't involve yourself in the conflict unnecessarily, or like let your ego take over, and you start being toxic and stuff with yourself at the job. It's definitely important to like think before you speak with a tower in reverse in this placement. Looking at finances specifically, it's not a time to be risky in terms of like your budget, or um, with investments, or what are things what can you mean by not being rich? Gambling, maybe not this week. Um, in general, it's just about like being somewhat conservative, and in that regard, this can be like have more like a positive meaning. Like I'm holding on to my pennies this week because it's not a good week, to splurge and spend. If you do have any problems that pop up, like financial issues that pop up, um, the guidance is to like deal with them head on in a straightforward manner. And if you need help figuring things out, then not to, hesitate asking for that support. Also, you could be feeling like your financial situation, and maybe even your financial future is in really dire straits in a really bad way. And the tower in reverse like this, believe it or not, can show up to say that it's things are probably not nearly as bad as you've been fearing. So that can be another meaning for this too. Like let go of your fear surrounding money, surrounding your income, surrounding your budget, surrounding your savings, surrounding whatever your financial again future, and that's how you're going to open yourself up to flow. Anytime we cling and hold on to fear and negative energy and negative emotion, we allow it to breed, in our lives. So definitely about turning your thoughts into a positive place. But things aren't as bad as you're making them in your mind. But our thoughts become our reality. So you want to keep focusing on financial ruin, then that can come about. That can be what you manifest. I don't think anybody wants to manifest that. Moving on to love and relationship. Queen of Wands is an awesome card in this position. She is potentially an actual Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Very positive, very feminine, very strong, confident, secure, feminine. If you're looking for love, then this can mean that you'll meet somebody who's like really perfect for you, and maybe through a friend, possibly even like an acquaintance, somebody that's not really a friend, like maybe some sort of gathering or whatever. So they come with somebody who you kind of know, and so you get to meet them that way. But it's not really like your friend is hooking you up, like, oh, I need you to meet this girl, I need you to meet this dude, or whatever. It's possible that you're not necessarily in the mood to like be on your own now, and so you're interested in being with somebody, which is kind of weird for the summer, right? That's like cuffing season. It's usually like November, right? November, December, right before it gets cold. But you are guided to get out and mingle and trust yourself and trust the universe and or God or whatever it is, in which or whom you believe, to bring you like the suitable love and support that you not only want but maybe even need, more importantly deserve. In this position of health, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse shows up to say that like you don't have to spend a lot of money and stuff like to be healthy and to take care of yourself. Like there's simple things that we can do to support our health, um, and maybe like our diet, or like sleeping is free. you know, getting enough rest is free. like grooming ourselves, brushing your teeth properly, because that can really affect your health. Even exercise, there's stuff we can do at our house, that doesn't require any equipment, jumping jacks, sit-ups, squats and crunches and things. Uh, Changes to our diet, making sure we drink enough water. You don't have to go out and buy water. Some people like tap water even. Um, there's like filters that we can put sometimes on our uh, the spigot, the water spout, to filter the water if you're going to be drinking tap water. Or sometimes we can get like those office, the 5 gallon drums of water with the dispenser, even in our home, and that can save us. And there's just things that you can do to help yourselves to be healthy without spending too much money. And that's what this card is about. Just eating well, resting, getting exercise, so on. Just going for a walk, maybe. Maybe you have a pet, maybe you have a dog. You walk your dog, and while you're walking your dog, you're getting exercise too. It's just like simple, inexpensive, and sometimes even, again, free ways that we can remain healthy and nurture ourselves. So I talked about confusion with Neptune, and I think that that's what this King of Cups is about. Um, he is possibly a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or someone like him to those traits or attributes, and could even, yes, be here representative of Neptune, himself. And with regard to spirituality, the card can, and the energy can again be confusing and even contradictory, because the King of Cups is known for um, being about balanced masculine and feminine energy. King of Cups has like both um, of the best qualities of each. Generally the feminine qualities of like compassion, love, concern, but also the male energy of action from Mars, right? For example, like Scorpios are partially ruled by Mars, but that's the masculine planet of love. So to an extent, all masculine energies and perhaps males are. So this card with spirituality is about trying to figure out how can you be about action and discernment and accomplishment at the same time as you know concern and love and compassion. How can I mix them? Is there a way to be compassionately active, compassionately aggressive? Is that a thing? And how can I be like super loving, like the King of Cups, but still also set boundaries too, you know? Um, so the guidance is like to start with yourself. Start by setting boundaries for yourself before you decide to set the boundaries for others. And you can like come up with different ways and um, different things that you feel like are important to you, and either spiritually motivating or draining, through like it really guides you to meditate, um, but also because of the Neptune influence, I think a lot of this information, rather than like a conscious meditation, will come in like while you're out walking, while you're doing something it's somewhat at least at peace. Walking is kind of like I'm being active, right? So I am taking that action like like the masculine energy, but also I'm nurturing myself, right? Or I'm spending time with nature, so that's kind of feminine too. So I think even just walking incorporates both and will put you in a place where your mind and your spirit is receptive to messages and things coming in, and that this is when you find yourself like in a place of peace. And it may wait until you're asleep if it doesn't happen during something like walking or taking a bath, or when you just like still. And you're going to have some like really increased, I think, moments of clarity and understanding and just receiving information this week. And on that note, we'll clarify these with the other deck that we shuffle. And this card, that it's our overall energy into eternal embrace, is kind of like what I was trying to describe. I'm not sure how good of a job I did at it, but what I was trying to describe about the King of Cups, because one of the things that it's about is like seeing a trait or an emotion, even, or something in another person that you admire or that you don't like. And particularly if you don't like it, then also being able to find that thing in yourself. And I that's what I was trying to say. Like, one of the things I was trying to say, like, this information about self, like, coming in when we're in a place of peace and learning how to understand ourselves better. So we're setting boundaries for other people. We want to. We're starting with setting boundaries for ourselves. But how can we do that if we don't understand ourselves yet? So that's what we're coming into first. The universe helping us to come into understanding about ourselves, and it'll be in these moments of like silence, I think. All right. Did I push these too far away? I think maybe it's kind of too far away. Just wanted some room to pull out the others. So joining the Four of Pentacles, the card most directly representing us this week is the Secret. Huh. Secret is about an actual secret. I'll get more into it in a second. Surrounding energy, joining the Hermit, we have Acceptance. Joining the Tower for work and finance, we have the Beloved. And joining the Queen of Wands for love and relationship, we have Judgment. Physical health, joining the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, we have Intimacy. And last but not least, joining the King of Cups, we have Love. He kind of is like the King of Love, isn't he? In the spiritual health. So I think that this is going to be about self-love again. If you're setting boundaries for self, you're coming into knowledge of self, receiving clarity about self. I think that's what the love is connected to. It's connected to you, to self. So the secret means that, it means that somebody will likely soon confide in you, and whatever it is they share with you, it could like shock you or even bother you. And maybe it's joined with the Four of Pentacles because you have to try to hold on to this information, right? You have to try to not share it, but you may feel torn between like your loyalty to whoever told you and maybe somebody else that's involved. And so this can create like, an inner struggle for you, a dilemma for you as to what is the right thing to do. Should you release the information or should you stay silent? And I think that's why this card was paired with the Four of Pentacles, because that's about, again, clinging to something, holding on to something, that you trying to hold on to the information and not share it, even though you know probably in your heart that it should be shared. Somebody needs to be told whatever this thing is. You really just got to be honest, follow your heart. What does it say to do? And if it tells you to reveal the secret, even if you feel that might cause some sort of drama, upheaval, even, to have the courage and love to go ahead and tell the secret. And the outcome is good, whether the secret is kept or revealed, if whichever is done out of, again, honesty and love and, courage, support. All those things, done out of positive things, then the outcome is going to be good for the people that are involved. So moving on to the Hermit and Acceptance. So again, the Hermit is a super, super spiritual card, and Acceptance is about, again, this is the placement of a surrounding energy, so it's probably more so somebody that you're close to who's going through it rather than yourself, but It's about having the power to heal. I mean that's pretty spiritual, and to bring balance into an area of your life that is or has been, causing you concern. And you're going to do this. You're going to accomplish this by accepting things as they are. How can you do that first? If you how can you do that if you don't first locate like where they are, what they are, and why they are like they are? Like by learning more about yourself, by doing that introspection, by going within, by if it does have to do with somebody else and you're playing the role of a teacher, maybe the hermit for me sometimes is like a teacher, a professor. And it can be all about self, right? You're both the teacher and the student, but it can also be about mentoring somebody else, helping somebody else, advising somebody else, and helping them to become more clear too, helping to help somebody reach a point of clarity so that they can accept things as they are. Again, very, very positive. The beloved can be a pretty romantic card, actually, and about like existing romantic relationships. If you're in one already, like it getting stronger, getting better. If you're not in one, if you're single, just feeling really, really full of love and hope and excitement, because you just are like a blessings magnet. You're attracting abundance. So for that reason, it's a positive card to have in the placement of work and finance too, because it's saying like you are an abundance magnet. You are drawing, blessings and gifts and maybe money. You're drawing things to you. Um, and it talks about a relationship that can like change your life. But what if that relationship is your relationship with money? What if that relationship is your relationship with yourself as it relates to manifestation? What I was talking about before, about changing your thoughts, changing the words you speak over yourself, changing the way that you think about money, that you think about your finances, that you think about your financial situation, your financial future, and then rewording it in a better way. So what if that's the relationship that's improved? Your relationship with yourself, your relationship with money, your relationship with your finances. Um, this card is also about just feeling really thankful. It can be like an overwhelming sense of thanks, of gratitude, of appreciation just for life in general, for the relationships that you do have, whether they're with people or money or whatever, I guess. And some sort of like valuable insights and understandings that you're coming into. And with the tower there, the tower can definitely be about, major revelations and moments of its clarity. So that can be where it ties into valuable, um, again, insights maybe that you're receiving too. So moving on to love and relationship and judgment and the Queen of Wands. And this is another one of these cards that, again, is talking about the self love. It's asking, or it's not asking, it's saying that basically, like, how we feel about our surroundings, how we feel about even like humanity and the world at large, is a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. So, how we feel about a partner, a love interest, a soulmate, whether we're, together or apart, we've met them, we've never met them, that we mirror the partner that we mirror people. It's not even doesn't even not have to be a partner. We mirror people, and everything that we see in others is a reflection of something that's in us. This theme is repeating, and that's why I'm a little bit like, Um, we're gonna be drawing people and situations and things into our life that reflect what we are and who we are and what we love about ourselves and maybe what we don't. So again, the idea that maybe it's partnered with the Queen of Wands because she is so strong and confident and secure, that she can be, that energy represents something or someone that can show us how to be sure of ourselves and proud of, without being ego filled, maybe proud of those positive traits and unafraid of the negative ones, just willing to, do what we have to do to get rid of them or work them out, correct them, change them. Intimacy here and physical health is about dropping our guard, right? That guard, and like I said, dropping fear, basically, and anxiety about relationships, about love, about sex, about intimacy. That fear of just constantly being hurt over and over again because we were hurt this one time. I got hurt, so let me keep up this guard. So it's about dropping the guard, and being vulnerable, and that's something that we can do, certainly for free too. That is helpful to our health. But we need intimacy. Human beings need intimacy. We need love. You can die of heartache, of lack of love, or a feeling that you lack love. And on that note, love in the placement of spiritual health is another one of these cards that talks about just a relationship continuing to get stronger and more beautiful and better, just for many, many years to come. It could be talking about your forever. So maybe in the placement of spirituality, it could be talking about a spiritually based relationship. We have 3 of these cards. This is like a general spread, and we have the beloved, we have intimacy, and we have love, even judgment. So 4 that can all be about a relationship showing up for you, right? If where you're single and you don't have one, relationship coming into your life, or where you do already have one, a relationship growing again, getting tighter, getting stronger, the bond getting stronger, and it could be something that goes on forever and ever. So I don't know why love creeps so much into our general reading this week, but it makes me sort of interested and intrigued to do the love reading and to find out what's up. But we're going to end our general reading here, with the exception of those who want to stick around and listen to what's happening, what else is happening at least, during the week. So this is the part where I get my laptop. It feels heavy today. I mean, it is kind of old, and they're so lightweight the way they make them now. Mine is kind of old. I like it though, because it was when Windows 10 came out that I bought it, but it was like people still had Windows 7 and Windows 8, and I like purposely searched for a computer place that I could find that still had a 7, because everybody was selling 10s and I didn't want 10. Yeah. I'm still not a fan of Windows 10. So I have Windows 7, long story short. Very purposefully, I have Windows 7. I'm going to keep it as long as I can. Okay. What's going on this week? So on the Christian calendar, we have, beginning with the 29th, 629, is the feast day of Saints Peter and Paul, the apostles, followed by the 30th, June 30th, is the feast day of the first martyrs of the Church of Rome. So we'll read about both of those. And it looks like I opened wikipedia.org for both. Beginning with the Feast of Saints Peter and Paul. The Feast of Saints Peter and Paul, or the Solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul, is a liturgical feast in honor of the martyrdom in Rome of the apostles, Saints Peter and Paul, which is observed on the 29th of June. The celebration is of an ancient Christian origin. The date is selected, or the date that has been selected, being the anniversary of either their death or the translation of their relics. They're not even sure. This is something that's celebrated all over the world. They have the Oriental Orthodox tradition. In the Coptic Orthodox Church and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the Feast of Saints Peter and Paul is also celebrated on the day 5 Epip, EPIP, which is also the end of the fast of the apostles in these traditions. Then it's celebrated, of course, in Eastern Christianity, Eastern Orthodox, Eastern Catholic. They mark it by a fast. And Western Christian tradition, many different types of churches, it says here, celebrating it. General Roman calendar. It's a holy day of obligation in the Latin Church, Church of England. It's a big deal. Then there's something here called the spiritual Christian tradition. Although the Canadian Doukhobors, a spiritual Christian denomination, do not venerate saints, the Feast of St. Peter and Paul has traditionally been a day of celebration for them since the year 1895. It has acquired a new significance as the commemoration of the burning of arms, the Doukhobors' destruction of their weapons, as a symbol of their refusal to participate in government-sponsored killing. It is celebrated now by their descendants as simply Peter's Day, sometimes referred to as the Doukhobor Peace Day. And, there's plenty more here to read if anybody's interested. But I'm going to move on to the first martyrs of the Church of Rome. And again, that's the subsequent day, June 30th. The first martyrs of the Church of Rome were Christians that were martyred in the city of Rome during Nero's persecution in 64, the year of 64. The event is recorded by both Tacitus and Pope Clement I, among others. They are celebrated in the Roman Catholic Church as an optional memorial on June 30th. This feast came into the general Roman calendar in 1969. The intention of the feast is to give a general celebration of early Roman martyrs. Prior to the calendar reforms, there were dozens of relatively minor Roman martyrs celebrated or commemorated in the calendar. Several of these had scant historical evidence, but did benefit from immemorial tradition. This feast is a replacement for the many Roman modern feasts, whose absence allowed for a less cluttered and more dies natale-based sanctoral calendar of the more major saints. And of course, there's more of this if you want to continue to read. But I'm going on to July the 3rd, to be exact, when we celebrate the Feast of St. Thomas. One of my favorites. One of Mary's favorites. Saint for the day. I got this from franciscanmedia.org. Poor Thomas. He made one remark and has been branded as Doubting Thomas ever since. But if he doubted, he also believed. He made what is certainly the most explicit statement of faith in the New Testament. Quote, "My Lord and my God," end quote. And in so expressing his faith, he gave Christians a prayer that will be said to the end of time. He also occasioned a compliment from Jesus to all later Christians. Quote, "Have you come to believe because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen me and have believed." End quote. John 20:29. Thomas should be equally well known for his courage. Perhaps what he said was impetuous, since he ran like the rest at the showdown, but he can scarcely have been the insincere when he expressed his willingness to die with Jesus. The occasion was when Jesus proposed to go to Bethany after Lazarus had died. Since Bethany was near Jerusalem, this meant walking into the very midst of his enemies and to almost certain death. Realizing this, Thomas said to the other apostles, quote, "Let us also go to die with him," end quote. John 11:16. Thomas shares the lot of Peter the impetuous, James and John, the sons of thunder, Philip and his foolish request to see the Father, Indeed, all the apostles in their weakness and lack of understanding. We must not exaggerate these facts. However, for Christ did not pick worthless men, but their human weakness against points of the fact that holiness is a gift from God, not a human creation. It's given to ordinary men and women with weaknesses. It is God who gradually transforms the weaknesses into the image of Christ, the courageous, trusting, and loving one. St. Thomas is the patron saint of architects, builders, construction workers, surveyors, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and theologians. Moving on to the Hebrew calendar, on the, I think it's the 27th. Yes, it is the 27th. The first day for which this reading is, Sunday the 27th, is the feast day of the 17th of Tammuz. And for this, I've gone to www.shabbat.org. The fast of the 17th of the Hebrew month of Tammuz, known as Shiva Asar Tammuz, is the start of the 3-week mourning period for the destruction of Jerusalem and the 2 holy temples. The fast actually commemorates 5 tragic events that all occurred on this date. Number 1, Moses broke the tablets when he saw the Jewish people worshiping the golden calf. Number 2, during the Babylonian siege of Jerusalem, the Jews were forced to cease offering the daily sacrifices due to a lack of sheep. Number 3, Apostomos burned the holy Torah. Number 4, an idol was placed in the holy temple. And number 5, the walls of Jerusalem were breached by the Romans in 69 CE after a lengthy siege. 3 weeks later, after the Jews put up a valiant struggle, the Romans destroyed the second holy temple on the 9th of Av. The Jerusalem Talmud maintains that this is also the date when the Babylonians breached the walls of Jerusalem on their way to destroying the first temple. And so Jews fast, long story short, and mourn again for 3 weeks because of these events that all coincidentally occurred on the same day in different years. And you can read more about the 17th of Tammuz at www.shabbat.org, or I'm sure many, many other places. You don't have to read from it the same place I read. Moving on to the planetary calendar. Not much excitement this week in that area, because we've had plenty. I did 2 readings surrounding like the moon and the retrogrades already for this week. Sunday, June 27th, the first day for which this reading is, at 12:27 a.m., Venus enters Leo at 0 degrees Leo. July 1st at 5:10 p.m., we'll experience the last quarter moon, 10 degrees Aries. July 3rd at 5:06 p.m., Jupiter will be quintile Uranus. July 3rd is the last day for the reading. So I was going into July 9th, at which time at 9:16 p.m., we'll experience the new moon in Cancer, but that'll be the following week's reading. So let's find out what it means for Venus to be entering Leo. For this, I went to www.tarot.com. Venus in Leo, generous, loving, proud. Didn't I just use the word proud? I think I just used the word proud when I was talking about the Queen of Wands. And so maybe the Queen of Wands is there representing like a Venus in Leo type of feminine energy. Anyway, let's get into this. When Venus, the planet of love, money, and desire, joins up with Leo's expressive and courageous energy on June 27th, it's a direct invitation to live and love out loud. Leo is the zodiac sign that rules the heart, so Venus's romantic side is extra infectious here. But Venus likes sweet and calm cooperation, so she could be taken for a wild ride with Leo the lion, who prefers things to be a bit more dramatic. Ain't that the truth? When lovely Venus enters Leo, the most expressive of all zodiac signs, we're ready to shout our love from the rooftops. Leo is a fire sign that's all about creativity, showing off, and speaking from the heart. So this energy lights up love like a torch. Expect playful dates, loud declarations of love, and maybe even a few jealous tantrums. Big feelings will be expressed now, one way or another. No one wants to simply be liked or appreciated when Venus is in Leo. We want to be adored. I used to tell my last boyfriend that I adored him all the time. I specifically use that word, and I don't know why. Like, I hadn't used it with anybody else. Anyway, it's an interesting word to it's an interesting choice of words, but that's what it says here. We'll want to be adored. This is a time to take risks and to make grand gestures. So those who play it safe could be left on the sidelines during this transit. Clearly, love isn't calm or easygoing while Venus is in Leo. While the lion just wants to play and enjoy life, Leo is also a sign that's full of drama. And if we feel like we're not getting the attention or recognition that we deserve, we may lash out at lovers who are only doing their best. During this transit, we may even start a passionate argument just to stir things up and to feel like the center of attention again. Remember, there is no I in the word we, and the more we focus on ourselves and our own needs, the more likely we are to end up with just that, only ourselves. Money is a means to an end while Venus is in Leo. It's all about making yourself and the ones you care about feel like $1,000,000. Leo is an extravagant sign who appreciates glitz, glitter, and glamour. So it's natural to splurge a bit during this transit, but pampering ourselves will only bring us a certain amount of satisfaction. Leo is a supremely generous sign, and spending money on thoughtful or over-the-top gifts for others will make us even happier than treating ourselves right now. Venus in Leo is an especially colorful time that can re-energize your relationships with others and remind you that life without a little bit of fun and excitement is no life at all. It goes on to talk about what it means if you were born with Leo in your own Venus and Leo in your own chart. And again, if you want to read about it from the same place I read about it, I got it from www.tarot.com. And that's our reading for the week. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I will be back with love. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. Namaste.